Shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and taught me this truth. Peace, blessings, salutations, and mercies to the elect and the one-third remnant out there listening and doing this word with all faith and sincerity scattered amongst the nations and the four corners of the earth. To you I say shalom, Lord willing. This video is edifying. It's going to be sitting around. The topic of President Trump signing the funding bill to end the shutdown, and one thing is for sure, a lot of people are feeling relief. A lot of people are feeling like they dodged a bullet. Okay, all of that, fake humility, the fear that people were once feeling, from the thought of a continuing period or a continuation of the period of them not being paid, or certain departments in the government not being funded. Now they could sleep well at night like it was just a bad dream, right? Because we know here in America, people live moment to moment, all right? Now they could finally swipe without seeing government shutdown on their screen, and they'll forget that it ever even happened, right? Not understanding that this extension is only for 7 weeks, all right? So not even 90 days. And we'll be in the same situation, if not worse, come February, right? But people don't get that. They don't understand that. Now they can go back to planning, Thanksgiving, going big for Christmas, right? New Year celebrations, New Year, new me. Same old shit, right? But this is intended to do exactly what it's supposed to do, which is, I believe, through the Spirit, just quell all the noise for the time being, right? While they continue to ultimately push Salakia, ultimately push towards the end goal agenda, which is a CBDC, right? And Salakia. And that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to unveil some technology. I wouldn't be surprised, right? Because there are more things that have to happen. There are more things that have to happen before they can really go through and shut down everything like they really want to. All right, this was just a psyop, just a test to see, how people will react, and they got their answer, and they'll recommence this operation at a further date. Okay, but in the meantime, just watch how people just forget this happened, right? This is First Thessalonians 5 and 2. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. So when you least expect them, when you least expect things to collapse, to go awry, that's when it's going to happen. Okay. So people are back in that calm state, right? And back to being securing that normalcy bias, right? People refuse to perceive that it can only get so bad, right? Before the government steps in and, you know, and and do what they're supposed to do for the people. Okay. Because it happens every time. But Esau is going to pull that rug, man. He's going to pull that rug. And what this does is when things really do happen, people are going to be waiting for him to show up and save the day as he always does, but he's not. Okay, which is going to add to the confusion on whatever event takes place on the minds of these people. Okay, a lot of people are going to sit back and no, they wouldn't do us like this, right? Because they had so many instances where they didn't get done like this, or they didn't get done like that, right? But they will. It's going to happen. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. See? And that's the scary part, right? The Lord is getting people comfortable. He's lulling them to sleep, right back to sleep. Okay, and what this does to your mind, it develops like a callus, you know. Food stamps to shut off for a couple of days, but they came back on. Okay, so when them lights go off, people are gonna have that same mindset. Yeah, the lights is off right now, but they're gonna come back on. They always do, right? Or, the water, the internet, it's off right now, but it's gonna come back on. Why? Because it always does come on, and they won't be able to perceive the fact that it won't come on. And when it finally does click, that it's not going to happen in the way in which they thought, right? They're going to bug out and it'll be too late, right? It'll be too late in a time where they could have escaped said peril. They spent their time waiting for things to correct itself as they always do. Okay. Cold game, man. This is Ciroc 5 and 7. Make no tarrying turn to the Lord and put not off from day to day. And this encourages people to do so. Salakia. This encourages that behavior. Okay. Just when you think, because every time something like this happens, right, it's always this mass hysteria of, everybody wanting sympathy and empathy and prayers and, support and all this other bullshit, right? And then as soon as it passes, they go right back to the same bullshit, same shit they was doing before, being a nigga, but even harder now. It's like this only encourages people to be more proud, right? For suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. See? So suddenly it's going to happen, okay? When you least expect it, all right? It's like the boy who cried wolf. Okay, eventually nobody believed him. So when the wolf came and he was crying, nobody came to help, right? And he was devoured and eaten. Okay, it's going to be a similar thing, all right? When it really does happen, nobody's going to believe it. Okay? This is that's why it's important to pay attention. All right? And see what exactly did they pass? What exactly is the thing that they brought in as a solution? Okay, pay attention to the signs and the things that are going on around you, because if you're just going by what they putting on, the television or the internet, these mainstream media sources and shit like that, you'll be lost, man. You have to be diligent, okay? And you have to study. You have to look at the world through the lenses of the scriptures, okay? So you may not be fooled. This is Matthew 24:42. Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord doth come. But know this, if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. See, because, ultimately it's a test, right? It's a test because a lot of people, a lot of people in the faith, claim to be, they see, this bill sign and, it's almost like, man, I knew it went go, it's almost like relief, right? Now I could go back to being a nigga, or maybe even discouragement. Like, damn, another one, something else happened, he ain't gonna never come, right? So let me go back to being a nigga, right? Because another false flag, I thought this was the one, and it wasn't. So now I'm discouraged, Now my faith was quenched, and now let me go back to being a nigga. No, man. That's why the Lord, he said, watch. Right? Therefore, be ye also ready for in an hour, for in such an hour as ye think not the Son of Man coming. So just when you think he's not coming is when he's going to come. Right? And that's hard for, a lot of Jake to understand, man. It's not on our time. This 2 Corinthians 2:11, but it is going to happen sooner than you think. We here, man. If he wanted to, he could have went through with, said apparel or said perils, right? He could have not brought back the food stamps and all that, but the Lord's timing is perfect, man. Just wait. Keep waiting. All right. You're not gonna be. The Lord is not gonna leave us hanging. It's 2 Corinthians 2:11. Least Satan should get advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices, and this is part of his device, right? His deception, his craftiness, right? He wants you in that mindset because it's a carefree, a careless mindset to be in, right? Very ignorant. But we know better than that, man. We know better because we know that our Lord made a promise. Okay, and Esau don't even know what time, he's not he's not even in control the way he think he is, man. The Lord is orchestrating this whole thing. Esau is just an instrument. This is Revelation 16:15. Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that keepeth watch and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. And they're going to see your shame when you get caught unexpected. See, we're not, when it does happen, because we're watching, Lord will, we continue to, we're not going to be caught with our pants down, man. But those of you who doze off and, you venture back out into the world thinking that, you got more time, you're going to be sorry. All right. And, the Lord's going to have his way with you. And with the honor of all praise, honor, glory to you, how about Shemel, Shabbat, Shem, Rakakodash, Wa, Abba, Babal, and DTA.